Hi there, my name's Claudia Wright from Brighter Soul, and today we're going to talk about who we are, or maybe what we are is a better way of putting it. What are we? That's right, we're going to talk about what we are. I've been a spiritual seeker for over 30 years. I'm a second degree Reiki therapist, and I have done hundreds and hundreds of courses and read hundreds of books to peel away the layers and find the truth, if you like, as well as to just find some level of peace and happiness for my life. So today we're discussing who we are, or what we are, maybe it's another way of saying it. And it's a deep question because when we think about ourselves, we think about ourselves in physical terms. So I can feel myself, I'm physical. I can see my things in front of me, I can see the picture behind me. You can see your friends and your family around you, and you feel physical. We feel physical because when we touch each other, that's what we feel. I was also brought up that way. We were brought up quite relatively religious. I went through multiple different religions, and I just remember probably the last religions I was taught. I was taught that there's good and bad, and if you're good, you go to heaven, and if you're bad, you go to hell. And that's physical when you think about it. If you think about burning in hell, that will be a physical experience. It will be heat, it will be trauma, and it would be related to your physical body. And if you go to heaven, same thing. You're kind of in heaven, and you're happy and you're feeling good, but you're still considered to be physical. Like, these are sensations and emotions and things that will guide you through your physicality. And over the years, I wanted to dig a little deeper. I just wanted to find out a bit more. It just didn't quite resonate with me. Like, are we just physical? Do I have to abide by these rules for my whole life just in case I go to hell? So I just wanted to explore a little bit more. So in my early 20s, I just started to go on this bit more of a different journey from what I was taught, and started to look into different things. And one of the things I did when I was younger, in my early 20s, was Reiki. I was introduced to Reiki by a very dear friend of mine, and I did the first Reiki course. And if you've not heard of it, Reiki is a healing modality, and what it kind of tells you is that you're using energy and you're pulling down energy from God or from source to pull through your body, out through your hands, and that's your kind of healing modality, and you can heal yourself and others with it. So all of a sudden, I started to discover that perhaps we are not just physical, and that we are made up of energy, and there is more to us. And as I started peeling back the layers, I also discovered that perhaps not only are we not just physical, and that we are actually made of energy, which is kind of proven now because we are actually made of molecules and atoms, which are a lot of air, if you like, but also that there was more to us rather than just my physicality. And that perhaps my physical aspect of me was a smaller part of a bigger picture. Now, I was kind of toying with this in my 20s, and then I had a very, very, what would I call it? Different experience. I had an awakening, perhaps is a better way of calling it. Again, in my early 20s, I was with a friend, and we were partying, having a bit of fun time and stuff like that, but we were just together. And all of a sudden, something unfolded in front of me that he couldn't see. So this experience was quite tangible to me. And I could see somebody walking through a wall, an older black lady. And I was like, at first, like, what the hell is going on? And then after that, I also saw these kind of beings that didn't really have a face. They kind of like were shaped like humanoid, but they didn't have face and hands and stuff, but they were just more of an energetic type of being. And there were two of them, and they were kind of like on one side, and this lady was on the other side. And then I could hear something over my shoulder telling me not to be afraid, and just to go with the experience. Don't fear anything that I was seeing. Now, I was in my early 20s, and I didn't feel scared, actually. It just was pretty miraculous. I'm like, I've never experienced anything like this before. I'm seeing ghosts. What are those other things? They don't look quite human. And I just was kind of astounded. I had a great experience. It was interesting. And then went home and thought about it. And obviously I've never forgotten about it for the rest of my life. And I thought about it, and I thought, what is this? What am I seeing? I'm seeing ghosts, like I started doing a bit of research, and I really couldn't find anything interesting or anything that could correlate with what I'd seen. So I just kind of left it and thought, okay, well, I've had that experience. I mean, I had a lot of experience during Reiki where I could see energy and I could feel it and I could kind of see it like sparkly energy around me sometimes. And I just thought, okay, well, maybe that's just a manifestation of energy and how, this journey I've been on with Reiki. So anyway, years went by and like I said, I've been on a bit of a journey and I started reading the Celestine Prophecy books, and the 10th Insight, the Celestine Prophecy 10th Insight, really opened up my eyes. And it showed me in that book, it kind of described an experience of reincarnation and what it looks like. And what I feel I had experienced at that point was actually somebody being shown their life story. So in the Celestine Prophecy, there's an experience where the character in the book had kind of elevated to a different dimension and seen something that was somebody's life purpose was being shown to them by these guides. So the guides, when the person died, they showed them their life story, what they had done in this lifetime, the great things that they had done and some of the mistakes they had made. And it was very non-judgmental. It was it was just to show them what they had done throughout their life and to see the areas that they still needed to improve. And this was like a soul's journey. This was like the guides showing the soul the journey that they went through. And some of the other outtakes from that book and other books that I've read as well is that we reincarnate, we are souls, we are souls with a physical body rather than we are physical bodies with a soul. We are soul. The soul is the bigger. The spirit is the part of us that is true, if you like. And the physical body is the part that's come down for a journey. What I kind of learned over those years was that we reincarnate. We have a journey. Our soul decides, it looks at what it's done and the experiences it's had, and it decides what parents it wants to go down in and have new experiences. And what I had discovered as well, and what's something that was very tangible for me now, is that, the more experience and hardship you have, like the harder your life is, the more your soul grows. And that is absolutely magnificent. So if, for example, you came down onto this earth and you chose by these parents are going to probably give me all the challenges I need to grow. So it's amazing because what you're doing if you're having a hard life is you are growing your soul. And it's a beautiful way to look at hardships and challenges in your life. It's a beautiful way to say, why couldn't I have come down and been a little bit more wealthy, or lived in a country that wasn't so hard or that had more benefits? And why couldn't I live in a society that was a bit more like this or a bit more like that? But your soul wanted this experience. Like, how magnificent to take the challenges from your life and realize that they are your soul saying, great, I'm going to grow exponentially, so perhaps I don't even need to come down into the earth for the next life, if that's the case. Perhaps you do want to, but just coming back to the story, like reincarnation is our soul going through multiple journeys to grow. And what I had seen in that experience of mine that led me down this path, because I'm like in my 50s now, so in my 20s, it led me on this path to say, I don't necessarily resonate anymore with these Christian beliefs that I was provided with previously about heaven and hell, and that you have to follow this God to do this, and if you don't do it, then you're going to go to hell, and that this religion says this and that religion says that. And I'm not putting religions down, because there are great things out of religions that do come about. There's a great community and spirit and everything else, but the rules, the rules of how you must be in order to be controlled, if you like. If you don't do this way, then you will go to hell. It's a fear-mongering, and that's not what we are. So just probably coming a little bit back to the subject of what we are and who we are. We're spiritual beings having a physical experience. We're made up of energy and we emit a frequency. And that's why we feel the way we do and we are the way we are. And I think what you can potentially get out of this, if you are finding it difficult to grasp, is just think of yourself as a soul having a physical experience. And whenever you feel hardships or you feel disappointed that things aren't going your way or you feel challenged, just pause for a second and think of it as your soul growing. This is my opportunity for my soul to evolve. How fantastic. And it might mean that if I reincarnate and I go through this lifetime and I overcome these challenges and I rise above it and I grow my soul and I let more like light into my world, that I come down onto this earth another time if I choose to do so. But it's a bit different. I have a different experience, but it won't be as hard. You know, maybe you are there to help others. So I think if we can just stop thinking of ourselves as a physical person, and this is like I'm going through life, yes, let's enjoy the physicality, but look at it a bit broader. Perhaps we're more than that. We chose our parents. We chose to come down and live the life that we did. And I know that might be hard for some people because some might have had some very challenging upbringing. I appreciate that. But if you just swing it around and change your context of life, then I think you'll learn to have a better life, because you'll realize that you have control over the situation. You can decide, okay, fine, so if I came down on this earth to learn these lessons, I'm going to learn them and I'm going to move to the next, and I'm going to learn something new and I'm going to move to the next. And you can start having more control over your life. You can start realizing that there's more to life than hardships and that basically your journey through life, if you like, and even the hardships that you go through will allow you, not only you, but your soul to grow. Like, that's amazing. I thought I'd just embark upon this journey to help get the word out and spread what I know and what I've learned over the years. I love doing what I'm doing. I really enjoy teaching people the things that I've learned. And my journey is ongoing and I'm constantly learning new things about myself. But one thing I feel really, really certain about and really clear about is that the physical part of us is a very, very small part of a bigger, beautiful spirit soul part of us, you know, and our soul is wanting us to grow. We are all a part of the Creator. Our souls are a little drop of the Creator, if you like, and the Creator wants us to evolve and the Creator wants us to experience. So, you know, as soon as you have a little bit of hardship and you start to think in terms of physicality and limitation and everything else, just remember that we are energetic beings, we are souls having a physical experience, and there is just so much more out there for us. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch my video. And if you've enjoyed this, check out my video about why I follow a spiritual practice. I just wish you a blessed life. Keep smiling, keep pushing through, and remember, your soul is growing every time you are challenged. Thank you so much for joining me. Ciao.